Baby blue staring in the window pane, just counting drops of rain, wondering if she's got the guts to take it. Running down her dreams in a dirty dress, now her heart's a mess, praying she will find a way to make it. So keep on climbing though the ground might shake, just keep on reaching though the limb might break. We've come this far, don't you be scared now, 'cause you can learn to fly on the way down. Searching for a sign in the night, even like a lonely string of lights that'll burn just long enough for you to see it. The road's been long and lonely and you feel like giving up. There's more to this than just the breath you breathe in. So keep on climbing though the ground might shake, just keep on reaching though the limb might break. We've come this far, don't you be scared now, 'cause you can learn to fly on the way down. On the way down. You won't forget the heavy steps it took to let it go. Close your eyes, count to 10, hold your breath and fly. Keep on climbing though the ground might shake, just keep on reaching though the limb might break. We've come this far, don't you be scared now, 'cause you can learn to fly on the way down.
Leaving home out on the road, I've been down before. Riding along on this big old jet plane, I've been thinking about my home, but my love light seems so far away, and I feel like it's all been done. Somebody's trying to make me stay, you know I've got to be moving on. Oh, big old jet airliner, don't carry me too far away. Oh, big old jet airliner, 'cause it's here that I got to stay. Goodbye to all my friends at home, goodbye to people I've trusted. I've got to go out and make my way. I might get rich, you know, I might get busted, but my heart keeps calling me backwards as I get on the 707, riding
You're beautiful, and that's for sure. You'll never, ever fade. You're lovely, but it's not for sure. I won't ever change. And though my love is great, and though my love is true, I'm like a bird, I only fly away. I don't know where my soul is, I don't know where my home is. And baby, all I need for you to know is like a bird, I'll only fly away. I don't know where my soul is, I don't know where my home is. All I need for you to know is your faith in me brings me to tears. Even after all these years, and it pains me so much to tell that you don't know me that way, and though my love is great, and though my love is true, I'm like a bird, I'll only fly away. I don't know where my soul is, I don't know where my home is. And baby, all I need for you to know is like a bird, I'll only fly away. I don't know where my soul is, I don't know where my home is. And baby, all I need for you to know is not that I wanna say goodbye. It's just that every time you try to tell me that you love me, each and every single day, I know I'm gonna have to eventually give you. And though my love is rare, and though my love is true, I'm just scared that we may fall through. I'm like a bird, I don't know where my soul is, I don't know where my home is. And baby, all I need for you to know is like a bird, I'll only fly away. I don't know where my soul is, I don't know where my home is. And baby, all I need for you to know is like a bird, I'll only fly away. I don't know where my soul is, I don't know where my home is. And baby, all I need for you to know is like a bird, I'll only fly away. I don't know where my soul is, I don't know where my home is. And baby, all I need for you to know is like a bird, I'll only fly away. I don't know where my soul is, I don't know where my home is. And baby, all I need for you to know is like a bird, I'll only fly away. I don't know where my soul is, I don't know where my home is.
And I had a dream that someday I would just fly away. And I always knew I couldn't stay. So I had a dream that I'd just fly away. I've been on my own for a minute. Is it only me out there? Searching for the place to begin it. Is it me? Is it you? Is it fear? Standing on the line I was given. People stare and ask me why I'm here. No one seems to think that I fit in. But I don't wanna be like them. No, 'cause I don't wanna be like them. 'Cause I know that and I had a dream that someday I would just fly away. And I always knew I couldn't stay. So I had a dream that I'd just fly away, away. Oh, 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 I'd fly away. No one would just fly, fly away. And I always knew I couldn't stay. So I had a dream that I'd just fly away, away, oh.
An OSU alum and the oldest woman to travel to space is coming to Oklahoma City this Friday. Wally Funk will speak at Oklahoma's Women in Aviation and Aerospace Day. The day honors contributions women have had on the industry and advocates for young girls and women to pursue aviation. The event begins at 10 a.m. at the OKC Airport.
In 2017, the Oklahoma legislature passed a bill to officially recognize the contributions of Oklahoma women in the state's aviation and aerospace industry. Oklahoma Women in Aviation and Aerospace Day is now recognized annually on December 9th in honor of Pearl Carter Scott. Scott was born December 9th, 1915 in Marlow, Oklahoma, and learned to fly at the age of 13 under legendary aviator Wiley Post. She became the youngest pilot in the United States with her first solo flight on September 12, 1929. 5B Aviation. AAR Corporation. The Oklahoma Department of Commerce ACES program. Acorn Growth Companies. The Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission. The Oklahoma Department of Transportation. Alaska Airlines. American Jet Charter. Ardmore Development Authority. ASAP Energy Incorporated. Aviation Training Consulting. Boeing. Oklahoma Department of Career Technology. Consolidated Turbine Specialists. Delaware Resource Group. Delta Consultants. First Mate Financial. First United Bank. Garver. Gilchrist Aviation Law. Guernsey. Intercontinental Jet Service Corporation. Jones PR. Javiation. Kratos, KSA Consulting, Mead and Hunt, Moore Norman Vocational Technology Center.
Wally, we're going to make an announcement really quick, okay?
Okay, wait a minute. I'm putting all my stuff here.
Oklahoma Airport Operators Association, Oklahoma Defense Industry Association,
Wally, are you ready for these people to sit down? And we're going to have our lunch?
Absolutely.
And we're going to have our program?
Absolutely.
Okay, tell them. Say, everybody take your seats.
Not as much as you do.
I know, right? We're going to ask everyone to please take your seats, and we'll be right with you. Okay.
Ready 3. Representative Tammy Townley, Robinson Aviation, Route 66 Flight School, SeaTech, Spirit Aerosystems, Stillwater Regional Airport, Sundance Airport, Sustainment Tech, Tulsa International Airport, United Dynamics, University of Oklahoma School of Aviation Studies,
Ladies and gentlemen, our event will be starting in 5 minutes. Please find your seats. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending. Our event will be starting in 5 minutes. Please find your seats.
Ladies and gentlemen, especially ladies, Governor Stitt, Director RDs, astronauts and aviators. I'm Ellie Milton-White, Managing Director of Oklahoma's Coleman Television LLC and Coleman Television in the UK. I'm sorry Nick Coleman and I can't be with you today. We're the makers of Inside the Sky, Oklahoma's aviation documentary. We've loved our time with you and we'll see you in 2022 when this slight COVID blip is over. I'm here to introduce our tribute to our guest speaker. Wally, you've inspired and empowered me and countless more young women to break down barriers, to be the best we can and shake up this industry. Women have been at the invisible core of this industry since the beginning. Harriet Quimby, Amelia Earhart, Bessie Coleman, Eileen Collins, Valentina Tereshkova, Sally Ride, Polly Vasher, Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, Mary Jackson, the list goes on. Today we pay tribute to them all. And of course, Wally Funk.
I was born and raised in Taos, New Mexico, only 2,000 people there. And my parents took me out to an airport, I don't know where it was. And at 2 years old, I saw that DC-3 and I went right over to that wheel and I tried to turn the nut on it. I had some knowledge about aviation because the spirit of the Taos Mountain filled my heart and has with all my life of things I should do. To always believe in and act upon, and I have all my life, and I've had a wonderful, wonderful life, and everything's been positive. So as a youngster, I went over there and tried to turn that DC-3 wheel, And of course it wasn't going to turn. But my parents said, oh, she's going to fly. My first instructional flight was when I was 9 years old. They took me out to California for that. And I flew. It was great. It was so natural. Very gentle on the wheel. I couldn't touch the pedals. My feet weren't long enough. But I could make turns gently and climbs and glides, and I could use the throttle. And it was absolutely wonderful. Then, Stevens College, they found out about me. Stevens College in Columbia, Missouri, heard about Wally flying. I never graduated from high school. I went right into college as a junior in high school, and I did well, and I got my license, my private license, at Stevens, and started my flying career. And they were quite amazed that I knew as much as I knew about flying and reading books, but also the Spirit of that Taos Mountain giving me the path that I should follow in flying. And I have always done that. Higher, faster, longer. But my most passionate thing is that when I was 20, I owned a Stearman. Now, a Stearman has got 4 wings, and the cockpit is open, and I sat in the front, and I had to kind of twist it. We didn't have headsets in those days. So I would take one leg and go on the outside of the where the wing was, and one leg inside the cockpit. And I would holler back at my students, now, when you come in for landing, get down to where you're just about level and let the gear touch down first and then the tail. Oh, okay. So I was doing that, and then pretty soon the tower said, Wally, why don't you sit in the cockpit? I said, I'm doing fine out here. I was on the team that went to NIFA, and I did very well. I won for Stevens College 2 times, because Stevens is 2-year college. It was so great, and then I saw Oklahoma State winning all the trophies. I said, that's where I'm gonna go. And my parents really had an idea where I should go where they went, and I said, no, I'm going where the flying is. Oklahoma State has the best flight team, the Flying Aggies. I wanted to be a Flying Aggie. And so before I even got there, the principal and teacher had me stay with he and his wife that first summer and get to flying and get enrolled, and it was all aeronautical courses.
And of course, as you moved on, Oklahoma became very important to you. One of your first very significant jobs was right here.
Right. Well, my first job was at Fort Sill, teaching the Army, right after I graduated.
That must have been an extraordinary situation for a woman at that time. Tell us about that.
It was. I was only 20, and my roommate, Patsy, we went to Fort Sill where her husband, or her father, was a colonel. And Colonel said, okay, what are you girls going to do this summer? I said, oh, we're just going to play. He said, Patsy, you go out and you work the horses. Wally, you go out to the airport and you get a job. And that's what we did. I went out to the airport. I said, I'm a flight instructor. I want to teach. They said, get into a uniform and you start teaching. And I did.
How tough was it for a woman to break through at that point?
Honey, I had such great, extraordinary feelings and knowing exactly what I wanted to do. I was never held back, only once. When NASA could not accept me, when Sally Ride and all the girls knew of my background and taking all the tests from Albuquerque, the astronaut tests, they said, Wally, you got to be with us. I said, okay. I went to NASA, because I had been there when all the girls went up, and I said, I want to be an astronaut. They said, well, we want you. However, you're missing one thing on your resume, your engineering degree. I said, okay, I was at Dayton, I'll go over and get it. Well, I went to Dayton Engineering School, talked to the head man, and he taps me on the shoulder. He says, you're a girl, go to home ec. That's the only time I've been said no to. I was very disappointed. However, Lovelace said, go over to this place in Oklahoma City. They've got so-and-so tests. go over here to so-and-so place in Kansas City, they've got so-and-so test. I went to everywhere he told me to go before he was killed in an airplane crash. So I did everything he told me to do. So I did phase 1 and phase 2 and all my other phases that he had outlined, unbeknownst really to everybody in Washington. And unfortunately, it was Johnson that said, stop this now with Cochrane. And I have to say, she apologized to me, but she was not very nice to the Mercury 13. I carried on. I'm the only one alive that's still flying. I'm staying young. I can still go, I can still run, I can still do all kinds of athletic things, and I'm not going to stop. Youngsters, please get into engineering, get into sciences, go out to your airport and talk to a flight instructor. Parents, please have your people, your kids, do what they want to do. Girls or boys, doesn't matter.
Wally, an inspiration. Thank you so much.
I came to win, to fight, to conquer, to thrive. I came to win, to survive, to prosper, to rise, to fly, to to fight, to conquer, to thrive. I came to win, to survive, to prosper, to rise, to fly, to fly, to fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 5th annual Oklahoma Women in Aviation and Aerospace Day event. And now, give a warm round of applause for the State Director of Aeronautics, Grayson Ardes, Director of the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission.
All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. All right, there we go, we're awake. Tell you what, I don't know who ordered this weather today, but this is some Chamber of Commerce weather for a mid-November day in Oklahoma. I know last year we were experiencing ice storms about this time period, and I'm glad to say that we have the weather we have today. It's great flying weather, great opportunities to be out and about, and I look across this crowd today and just how amazing it is to see all these people here at this great event. On behalf of the Aeronautics Commission and all the dignitaries today, I want to welcome you to this wondrous event that we're celebrating women in aviation and aerospace. As we look around this crowd, I see young people, I see old people, I see people in business, I see people in education, I see all kinds of folks, and I am glad to see at the end of the day the excitement that this is bringing. Let's take a moment to look at the sights and sounds of aviation aerospace, admire this historic 1929 hangar, and just smell that Jet A fuel out there on the ramp. That's right. There's nothing better that wakes you up in the morning than a little aviation fuel flying through the ramp of some aviation and aerospace activities. I want to give a resounding welcome to this next individual and a special thank you to the organization that they represent for housing this great event today. Mr. Brian Sartain, Senior Vice President of Repair and Engineering Services with AAR, please join me on the stage.
All right, thank you, Grayson. Just a warm welcome to everybody, all of our retired and active military, our elected officials, honored guests, Wally, everybody who's here today. I just want to welcome you. Thank you for coming. All 600 of you that are here today, give yourselves a hand. Yeah, it's just great to see everybody here. We're a nationwide organization. I'm fortunate enough, my name's Brian Sartain, I'm fortunate enough to lead the Repair and Engineering Services business, or AAR Corporation. We're based in Chicago, but this is where we started. This was the first airframe maintenance facility that AAR acquired, and where a lot of what you see today in a $2 billion corporation started. So we have a special place in our heart for Oklahoma City. I come down here a lot, and I really appreciate all the work of all our employees, Chamber of Commerce, putting this event together. This is really fabulous. If you would give one more round of applause to all the folks who put this event on. I will take a few more moments though and say something about women in aviation. For our corporation, I'm doing it. I'm going for it, Wally, just like you. All right. So, look. So here's the deal. I mean, you've probably read in the press and understand where aviation is as an industry right now post-COVID. This facility, just like every other facility, is looking for every qualified worker that we can find. It's a serious issue within our society. I know the governor, all of the folks in the legislature are working on programs. We reach into high schools every day to find ways to make aviation more inclusive for our population. And at AAR, we've taken a special effort to bring women into aviation. For instance, in some of our facilities, we've started all-female crews to try and create an environment where women and young girls will see other people that look like themselves in this occupation, because we pay well. It's a great place to make a career. Most of the people that you see in senior leadership positions started out as aerospace engineers or mechanics on the floor and took advantage of the training that we offer as a corporation to make themselves better and rise in their careers. So it's something that's very important for us. With women being about 7% of our workforce across the board, we recognize that we need to find ways to bring more folks into our family and help them succeed the way the rest of us had. So I just wanted to say, I'm so happy to host this event. We'll continue to host this event. We're a big portion of Iowa. We do a lot of work with all the women in aviation organizations, and you can count on AAR to continue to support events like this. And I just want to thank everybody for coming.
Thank you for that, Brian. I've been to the Capitol over the last 12 years, back and forth, lobbying and advocating for various things in aviation aerospace. And I dare say that the legislators we have in place today are probably some of the most enthusiastic and energetic folks about supporting our aviation aerospace industry. Probably the biggest and best group we've ever had that support aviation aerospace. And they have a little recognition that they would like to give. So please welcome Senate Pro Tem Greg Treat, Senator Paul Racino, and House Majority Floor Leader John Echols to the stage for a special announcement.
When the wind comes right behind the rain. So first off, let me say thank you all for being here and welcome to Senate District 45. I appreciate you all being here, and it's a great honor. It's also an honor to have the President Pro Tem of the Senate, who is my boss in the Senate here, standing up here with me and making time out of his day, and also Representative John Echols, who, again, is the Majority Floor Leader in the House of Representatives, and both very, very supportive of aviation. So at this time, I'd like to read a citation. Citation of recognition, AAR Corporation. Whereas, in 1955, Ira A. Eichner founded a small entrepreneurial enterprise to supply radios and other equipment to the fledgling commercial aviation industry. In 1960, the company became Allen Aircraft Radio, providing equipment for the newly emerging commercial aviation industry. Today, AAR Corporation is a global provider of aviation services to commercial and government customers worldwide with the motto, doing it right since 1955. And whereas AAR Corporation seamlessly provides world-class services through a global facility network that bundles airframe maintenance, inspection, and repair, major airframe modifications and upgrades, avionics service and installations, structural repair, exterior and interior refurbishment, landing gear, component repair, wheels and brakes, and engineering services capabilities worldwide. And whereas AAR Corporation is an awarded global aerospace and defense company. The largest independent MRO provider in North America, AAR builds and retains the best team in aviation and commits every day to doing it right. And now, therefore, in pursuant to the motion of President Pro Tem Greg Treat, Senator Paul Rosino, and Representative John Eccles, the Oklahoma State Legislature extends AAR Corporation appreciation and directs this citation be presented. John,
Thank you.
is there anybody taking a picture?
Yeah, there.
There he is.
There you go.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Contrary to popular belief, I am not going to be your MC today. I would not do that justice, but I would like to welcome to the stage, and it provides me great distinguished pleasure to introduce to you Commander John Harrington, who's going to be our celebrity MC and guide us through today's event. So Commander Harrington, please join us on stage.
Tom Cruise look here. So, no, thank you so much for being here, and a special thanks to Sandra. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a celebrity MC. Now, if you look in your programs, there's a much younger and a much cleaner cut looking gentleman in a blue jacket. But this is my first ponytail in about 40 years. So, but it's fun to be here. One of the things, and Wally, you understand this, is that you don't expect to be a celebrity as an astronaut. And then you find your role as an astronaut, you get out into public and you get to talk about what NASA does, what your experience is like flying in space. And there's some celebrity component that goes to that. And so it's an honor and privilege for me to be here. Thank you for inviting me. What I'd like to do now is if we could all rise for the presentation of the colors of Del City, Navy ROTC, and Tinker Air Force Base. Present the colors. Ms. Brittany Attaway will sing a national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land
Ready. Captain Kilty, where are you? Captain Kilty, Colonel Coyle. Hey, thank you guys. Thank you so much for having the folks here for the posting of colors. And I would say Captain Kilty, if Captain Kilty is here, we're in test pilot school. He was a skipper at test pilot school right after I left, and I was hoping to see him, but he'll be here, I believe, sometime today. I'd like to remain standing, if we could, and bring up the Fort Sill chaplain, Tanya Bindernagel, and she would lead us in the prayer here. And come up. I don't have this memorized. I'd like to read it. Captain Bindernagel has served in a variety of active component units to include the 125th Combat Sustainment Support Battalion at Fort Campbell, the 2nd Artillery and 5th Field Artillery Regiment, and the 168th Brigade Support Battalion at Fort Sill, and the 102nd Strategic Signal Battalion in Wiesbaden, Germany, and the 1st Battalion, 79th Field Artillery Regiment in Fort Sill. That's a mouthful, but thank you so much for being here. If you could lead us. Hey.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Good morning. I invite you to pray with me. Lord God, we thank you for this great opportunity today to celebrate and to honor the women pioneers and heroes of the aviation and aerospace industry. Lord, today we pause and we reflect on the pivotal role that Oklahoma has played in aviation history and how women have been instrumental in that history. Lord, we express gratitude for the women in this lineage and how, Lord, you have gifted them with perseverance, courage, and wisdom, and for enabling them to excel in their vocation. Thank you for their hard work, their dedication to progress, and their commitment to innovation. Thank you for the way that they have been able to inspire and encourage those in the industry, those in the community, and those who aspire to become aviators. It is an honor to recognize their contributions and publicly express our appreciation for their service. Lord, we ask a blessing to rest on each pilot, researcher, laborer, staff member, executive, and anyone who has provided support to these outstanding individuals. May they continue to persevere and may they continue to excel. May they continue to set an example for the current and for the next generation of women who dream of flying. Lord, bless Miss Wally Funk as she shares with us today. May her words be a source of inspiration and application for each one of us. And Lord, we humbly ask for your mercy and for your grace to cover each one of us, and for your hand of protection to rest on each person under the sound of my voice, their families, their friends, and anyone else here that is represented today. Lord, bless the state of Oklahoma and our great nation. We pray these things in your name and for your glory. Amen.
Please be seated. If you could, go ahead and start your meal. I like to tell stories. One of the things when one of the very first speeches I ever gave as an astronaut was I was given a speech by a speechwriter at NASA and had a lot of quotes from Chaucer and Walt Whitman. And I took that speech and I gave it to a small group in Houston, Texas. And as I read my speech, I looked up and a person in the back of the room kept going like this. And every time I look up from my speech, somebody would be doing this guy would be doing this. And it bugged the heck out of me. So at the end of the event, I walked up and I said, "What are you doing? What's this?" I had just eaten lunch and I thought I had something on my shirt. And he goes, "No, speak from the heart. You know, you have a speech, tell us the story." And that's what I endeavor to do. I have a speech or I have things I have to follow on here, and I'm going to do the best I can to read those and talk slowly. But this is all coming from the heart. You know, I live in Montana now. I'm from Wetumpka, Oklahoma originally. After I retired from NASA in 2005, I came to work right here at Will Rogers, right across from the 99s. And I had never been to the 99s Museum before, and I worked right across the patio for a company called Rocket Plane. And so Oklahoma's near and dear to my heart. Half of my family was already here. The Chickasaw Nation, I'm a citizen of the Chickasaw Nation. I work for Governor Bill Anatebi, and he's done a phenomenal job here in the state of Oklahoma and around the Indian country. But it really is just coming from the heart that I have a chance to kind of share the story, and also with the wonderful folks that are here and talking about women in aviation. We have a panel here I'll be doing shortly once we get through a couple things we're doing. But please eat your lunch. I'm going to follow my script right here. And we're going to be bringing up next, present Alexis Higgins from the Oklahoma Airport Operators Association in the Tulsa International Airport. Alexis Higgins was named Chief Executive Officer of the Tulsa Airport Improvement Trust, the operating entity for Tulsa International Airport and Riverside, R.L. Jones. in March 2019, and you oversee the administration, operation, and development of both airports. So, Alexis, please.
Thank you, Commander Harrington. Ms. Wally Funk, I love your energy. I'm going to channel your energy today and throughout the day. We're so pleased to have you here. On behalf of the Oklahoma Airport Operators Association and our 80-member airports, it is my pleasure to welcome you all today to this 5th annual Oklahoma Women in Aviation and Aerospace Day Luncheon. This event launched in 2016 at Wiley Post Airport under the leadership of Airport Manager Christy Slater. Christy, I know you're here somewhere. Thank you for doing that. Look at what started from an idea 5 years ago. I would be remiss if I did not recognize the tireless work of our event chair and really the leader of these events for the past 5 years, Ms. Sandra Shelton. Sandra deserves all of the credit. Yeah. Sandra's amazing, and this is her vision. The Oklahoma Women in Aviation and Aerospace Day idea was her brainchild. She had the tenacity to get it done, to get the law passed with the support of a great team at the Aeronautics Commission. And we're here today, and we will continue to be a voice advocating for women because of the work of Sandra Shelton. So thank you, Sandra. I know we're waiting on the arrival of Governor Stitt. He'll be here with us shortly, but it's my honor today to recognize our special guests, our elected officials, and the supporters of the state's second largest industry, which is, of course, aviation and aerospace. Ms. Wally Funk is our keynote speaker. Thank you for being here. Secretary Gatz from the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, thank you for joining us today. We would like to also welcome Honorable President Pro Tem of the Senate, Greg Treat, and the House District of State Representative John Eccles, and future District of Senator Paul Rosino, who were up here earlier presenting the resolution. We also welcome Estela Hernandez with U.S. Senator James Langford's office. Estela, and there you are, thanks for being here. Senator Adam Pugh, Senator Brenda Stanley, Representative Nicole Miller, Representative Marilyn Stark, Representative Jay Stegall, Representative Tammy Townley, Representative Denise Crosswhite-Hader, the Executive Director of the Oklahoma Department of Commerce, Brent Kissling, Aeronautics Commissioner Blake Rainey, Aeronautics Commissioner Lindy Ritz, Aeronautics Commissioner Jerry Hunter, Miss Oklahoma Ashley Robinson, and President of the 99s Corby Bullock, along with the Director of the FAA Mike Monroney Center, Michelle Coppage. Please join me in recognizing these officials. I also would like to recognize the women and men here today who are currently serving or have served. If you are a United States military veteran or member of the armed forces, please stand so that we can show our appreciation. I would also like to recognize members of the 99s organization who are here, and any member of the Oklahoma Airport Operators Association who's a female airport manager. If you would please stand so that we could recognize you. Thank you for your sponsorship today. Thank you for all you do to support aviation in Oklahoma. Again, welcome to our celebration of Oklahoma women in aviation. Enjoy your lunch.
Thank you, Alexis. Mayor Holt served in the White House and then for 5 years as the Chief of Staff for then former Mayor Mick Cornett before serving almost 8 years in the Oklahoma Senate. Then Senator Holt authored over 70 pieces of legislation that became law, and he was elected in February 13th, 2018 with 78.5% of the vote, the largest vote percentage achieved by a non-incumbent mayor since 1947. And your Osage, welcome aboard. Mayor. Thanks, sir.
Many a month has come and gone since I wanted.
We all get theme songs. That's kind of cool. Well, thank you so much. Oklahoma City is intensely proud of its connection to aviation, the home of Tinker Air Force Base, of course, but so many other things, and we are even more proud of our connection to women in aviation. To have the 99s here just a quarter mile away, right here in Oklahoma City, is really cool for our community, and we're so blessed and grateful to host this event here every year. And it is my honor now to present a few awards in the names of some pretty famous Oklahomans. So, let's begin. Now, these awards are presented by the Oklahoma Women in Aviation and Aerospace Day, created by the Oklahoma chapter of the 99s. This was created in 2019. It was a new partnership being established between the two groups by the Oklahoma Airport Operators Association. There was a committee that chose the nominees, and they narrowed the nominees into 3 finalists per category. I'm going to read a little bit about each award, and then after each of that, we're going to hear a little bit of audio about the nominees, and then we'll present. The Pearl Carter Scott Award. The Pearl Carter Scott Oklahoma Aviation Distinguished Service Award was created to honor Oklahoma aviation pilots, laborers, staff, or executives who have excelled in their service and dedication to aviation progress and development in the state. Nominees must be an Oklahoma resident, hold a pilot license, and are to have exemplified the extraordinary attributes of an outstanding female aviator. Now we're going to hear, I'm told,
the Oklahoma Airport Operators Association, in friendship with the Oklahoma chapter of 99s, proudly presents the Pearl Carter Scott Oklahoma General Aviation Distinguished Service Award. The finalists are Ashley Shelton. Ashley Shelton was born and raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Her passion for aviation started at an early age, building and flying model airplanes with her father. Ashley is a commercial pilot and is currently training for additional ratings and building time to pursue flying as a career. She completed her first solo in a Cessna 172 and flies her 1946 Piper J3 Cub and her 1946 Funk. Jerry Barrientos. As the Chief Executive Officer, founder at First Mate Financial Advisors, a community volunteer, and the owner of multiple businesses, Jerry has grown her businesses by more than 30% year after year. Through her work, Jerry helps people and families plan, grow, and preserve their financial assets. She is a pilot and a tireless advocate for Airman Acres.
Give a round of applause.
Why Starts. Why Starts, known to everyone as Y, has been a member of the Oklahoma chapter of 99 since 1988, more than 33 years. She served as treasurer, air marking chairman, Okie Derby chairman, and 99's membership chairman. She also participated in the Okie Derby Air Race Classic, was a member of the Civil Air Patrol, as well as a member of the Oklahoma Pilots Association for more than 30 years. Wyvima is the true essence of someone in love with aviation, sharing her passion for aviation and encouraging others.
All right. Well, those are your 3 nominees. Sandra, is it true they don't know who won yet? There's actual drama in this award? That's kind of exciting. All right. Well, the winner of the 2021 Pearl Carter Scott Award is Wyvima Starts. And Y should come up here. Y is here? Okay. Come on, and I heard from the audio, we call her Y, so come on up, Y. while Y's coming up, because, you know, obviously Pearl Carter Scott, such a great name in the history of aviation here in Oklahoma. I did want to share another great name and another honor we're going to have. MAPS 4 creates the Bessie Coleman Garden out here at Will Rogers Airport. Bessie, of course, was the first African-American and first Native American woman to hold a pilot's license, and we're going to honor her as part of MAPS 4. That'll open here at this airport in just a few years. And now, let's honor Wyvima Starts. Let's give her another round of applause. Come here and take a quick picture with Commander Harrington. Okay, you get down the stairs.
I'll help you down here.
All right, we're not done yet. The Geraldine M. Cobb Oklahoma Military Aviation Distinguished Service Award was created to honor Oklahoma military or civilian pilots, programs, laborers, staff, or executives dedicated to the service of our nation who have excelled in their vocation and exhibited dedication to military aviation progress and development in the state. Now we're going to hear about the 3 nominees.
The Oklahoma Airport Operators Association, in friendship with the Oklahoma chapter of 99s, proudly presents the Geraldine M. Cobb Oklahoma Military Aviation Distinguished Service Award. The finalists are Captain Morgan Burris. Captain Morgan Rose Burris distinguished herself by exemplary military service in the state of Oklahoma as an MC-12W pilot, aircraft commander, 185th Special Operations Squadron, 137th Special Operations Wing, Will Rogers Air National Guard Base, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma Air National Guard. Captain Burris was one of 6 co-pilots mobilized for the first ever Presidential Emergency Involuntary Mobilization of the Air National Guard, and was tasked to support the counterterrorism and narcotic threat in the Southern Command area of operations.
All right, yeah.
Colonel Abigail Rusqueta.
More, right? None of this is written up here, so I am like Anchorman. I can only read what is in front of me. So I have no more filler left. You want me to just present the award? Okay, there are other nominees. If we gain that information before the end of lunch, we might share it with you, and it'll be great for those folks. But I do know the winner because it's engraved right here on the award. And so we are going to present the 2021 Geraldine Cobb Award to Colonel Abigail Rusqueta.
To fight, to conquer, to fly, but came to win, to survive, to prosper, to rise, to fly.
All right. There we go. Big smile.
To fight, to conquer, to fly.
Look, Rip and grin. Congratulations.
One more. We're so grateful for our active military and all of our veterans. Thank you. All right, last award, and that is the Dr. Shannon Lucid Oklahoma Aerospace Distinguished Service Award. It was established to honor Oklahoma aerospace programs, pilots, laborers, staff, or executives who have excelled in their vocation and dedication to the progress and development of the aerospace industry in the state of Oklahoma. Recognizing that the vitality and effectiveness of a business, government entity, or civic organization directly reflects the quality of its workforce, OAOA and the 99s are resolved to identify and honor individuals who have performed in an exemplary manner and whose contributions will serve as an inspiration to other aerospace professionals. And we might
The Oklahoma
hear the nominees.
Airport Operators Association, in friendship with the Oklahoma chapter of 99s, proudly presents the Shannon Lucid Oklahoma Aerospace Distinguished Service Award. The finalists are Alexis Higgins. Alexis Higgins began working for the Tulsa Airport Authority in 1999. She recognized that the aerospace industry that made its home at Tulsa International and Riverside airports was a significant factor in the economic health of the region. She played a key role in establishing and developing the Oklahoma Airspace Alliance, which represented 300 aviation-related companies. While serving as the Director of Marketing at TAIT, she became an essential spokesperson for airports and aviation. She earned the AAE accreditation through the American Association of Airport Executives and was promoted to CEO in early 2020, Tulsa International's first female CEO. Tanya Blansett. Tanya Blansett has advanced Oklahoma aerospace significantly through her work as a teacher of STEM subjects and as a coach of winning FIRST robotics teams. She sits on the Regional Planning Committee for FIRST Robotics competition in Oklahoma and on committees to advance civil, commercial, military, educational, civic, and professional aerospace programs, including hosting and promoting meetings and gatherings, including a 99s convention, the annual Aviator Ball, and Runway Run. Tanya is now the highly respected head administrator of the Tulsa Air and Space Museum and Planetarium. Barbara McNally. As an administrative assistant, Barbara had no idea that she would one day become Lawton Regional Airport Director. But as her role at the airport evolved, taking on accounting, reporting, and management responsibilities, her interest in aviation grew and set her sights on advancing her aviation career. Barbara charged forward, attending night classes to complete her degree in airport management in 1995. In 1996, Barbara's innovative problem-solving abilities and strong leadership skills were recognized with a promotion to airport director, where she continues to serve.
All right, and the winner of the 2021 Dr. Shannon Lucid Award is Tanya Blansett.
To fly, to conquer, to thrive, I came to win, to survive, to prosper, to rise, to
Well, let's hear it for all the award winners and the nominees. Thank you so much. All right, I'll be back in a little bit. Back to you, Commander.
Thanks, Mayor. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor. Whoa, right on schedule. Outstanding. And next, I'd like to introduce the State of Commerce Director, Brent Kissling. If you could come to the stage, please. Hey, Brent, nice to meet you, man. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it very much.
Wow, what an incredible day. Can't believe I was just introduced by an astronaut. And having Wally Funk on the front row, I'm glad that you all have the camera so you can see the expression on her face. She gets excited about every word that is said up here on the stage, and it is so much fun to be this close to her. It's an honor to be here and great to see such a big crowd. We have a great partnership with the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission. Grayson Ardes and Sandra and the entire team do a fantastic job helping to elevate aviation and aerospace here within the state, and we are so proud to partner along with them. And I'm also proud to be here representing the ACES program of the Department of Commerce. You know, in Oklahoma, we do best whenever we specifically focus on something. And about 10 or 15 years ago, we specifically started focusing on the aerospace industry. And today, that industry is our second largest employer. And we have a great example of that here with AAR. And Brian, thank you so much for your investments here in the state, and Stan and the entire team here. Thank you so much for what you do every day. Because right now in Oklahoma, this is the era of the airplane in our state. It really is. And we have a governor who is a pilot right now, Governor Stitt, who you'll hear from in just a moment or two. Our senior senator, Jim Inhofe, is a pilot. And then just looking around this room and seeing the way that our Women in Aviation event just continues to grow every year, we continue to see more enthusiasm toward the aviation and aerospace industry in this state, and it's working. Right now, we're at 3% unemployment rate in Oklahoma. That's 7th in the nation. That means our employers in Oklahoma are doing a better job of keeping our citizens employed than 43 other states. We should give ourselves a huge round of applause for that. It's huge. Since last April, when it seemed like everything was falling apart, 100,000 new jobs have come back to the great state of Oklahoma. Never in the history of our state have we seen a recovery happen that quickly. A lot of that comes from the aviation and aerospace industry. And that begs the question, why? Why is our state doing so well right now? And I like to relate it to a story that I've read quite a bit about lately, and that's the story of the Wright brothers, which I think is appropriate today. You know, in December of 1903, that's whenever Wilbur and Orville flew that plane for the first time in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. And the part of the story that people forget quite a bit about that momentous day was that Wilbur and Orville didn't live in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. They lived in Dayton, Ohio. They built their plane in Dayton, Ohio. They spent months and months and months trying to decide where they were going to make that first historic flight. They chose Kitty Hawk for really two reasons. One, there was plenty of space, but probably the biggest reason was there was a consistent wind on that particular span of beach there at Kitty Hawk. I would suggest to you that that's one of the reasons why Oklahoma is doing so well today and leapfrogging many of those other states. We have a consistent wind right now of support for the aviation industry, consistent support from our legislature, from our governor, our state leaders, a consistent reduced regulation, reduced taxes type of approach here in Oklahoma, and a consistent group of leaders like all of our Women in Aviation and other leaders that are here today that are truly leading the way for growth of the future. It's an honor to be a part of your day today. Enjoy your lunch and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks, Brent. Yeah, I'd like to bring back to the stage State of Aviation, Aerospace, Aeronautics Director Grayson Ardes. Hey, Grayson. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Commander. Just like in football, which we'll experience tomorrow, sometimes you have to call an audible. In aviation, aerospace, sometimes you have to make a diversion in your flight plan. So we're going to go do a little audible here. I'm going to bring to the stage the International 99s, which have a special presentation for a lady sitting here up front, I believe. And so, ladies, if you would come up.
Thank you. I'm Stephanie Roberts, and I want to thank you for letting me and my friend Monica over here, we're both 99s, come up from Texas. We appreciate it, Oklahoma, and we won't talk about football games. We're here to talk about one of our favorite people, Wally Funk. I know you all are waiting anxiously to hear from Wally, but we want to tell you about something else special that happened on July 20th. That morning of July 20th, a large group of Wally's friends, former students, some of them brought their children, and 99s gathered in a hangar, somewhat like this, in North Texas. The Fort Worth chapter, represented by Monica, did a fabulous job of decorating with a space theme. Now then, those of you that know Wally know there's nothing she likes better than a party and a get-together with her flying buddies. Well, that morning, there was only one thing missing: Wally. Another thing that she always does if she's at a gathering, and let me warn you, watch your centerpiece down there. Wally loves a small souvenir to take home to remember her events by. And let me tell you, her house is a museum of fabulous and fun little souvenirs from different events she's attended. So Wally, since you weren't able to be with us, and there was a large group of us there, we were also joined by 99s all across the nation who got up, as some said, at dark 30 to watch the launch. We want to tell you, we were there for you at the launch party, and we saved you a napkin. So we passed out the napkins. Everyone there at your launch party signed them, including the cameraman from WFAA TV. So we have your napkins for you to take home. And just in case you didn't see the picture on the Dallas Morning News, there it is. So thanks, Wally. A little something to take home. We love you.
Well, I don't know what's tougher, following a presentation of Wally Funk or following my friend Brent Kissling. As you heard from Brent, he always shares the good story of business growth, industry success, new jobs, new companies coming to our state, and it really is fun. It's an exciting time to be in aviation. I want to share a few remarks with you today. Obviously, we all want to hear from Wally Funk, and we want to get to the presentation of all the different things that we have going on later in this great event. What I hope to do today is inspire you with a few of these words. Today's theme, Flying Yesterday and Tomorrow, is a great opportunity to look at where we've been, experience those moments, reflect on those moments, and see how those moments can shape our future. I dare say, as I mentioned earlier, there is no better time to be in aviation or aerospace than right now at this moment in time. Our elected officials, our business partners, our educational programs, our communities, our airports, our military industry is all at the top of the heap. And as you've heard repeatedly, aviation aerospace is our state's second largest industry with $44 billion a year of annual economic impact. 120,000 direct jobs with an average annual salary of $73,300 a year. Parents, you might want to take note of that stat. These are good paying jobs, rewarding careers for you young people in the room. But I want to say something, this didn't just happen overnight. In the 12 years I've been at the agency, I've seen us move the needle just a little bit. And it's truly awe-inspiring to understand what the predecessors that came before us had to do to move the needle so far to make aviation aerospace what it is today. The heritage of aviation aerospace in this state is a rich one. Clyde Cessna doing his flight tests in western Oklahoma. Famed aviator Wiley Post flying around the world, discovering the jet stream up above us, bringing in this great weather today, discovering the astronaut suit that helped our astronauts be able to travel into space. From there, Oklahoma continued its upward trajectory. We had a few things that happened in the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s era. A little thing called the Midwest Air Depot was created. We know that today as Tinker Air Force Base. We stole, or as my good friend Brent might say, we recruited to the state a couple of companies from other states, American Airlines Maintenance Base from New York, the FAA Standardization Center from that state to our south that we don't want to talk about. At the end of the day, it's moves like that that set the foundation for what the industry has become today. We are the MRO capital of the world. Maintenance, repair, and overhaul of aircraft is our jam. That is what we do best right here in Oklahoma, and we're proud of it. But I got to tell you something. We're not here to just reflect on our heritage. We're not here to talk about the men that have been successful. There are lots and lots of women that were pioneers, that were very influential in making this industry what it is today. Women like Bessie Coleman, we heard about just a little bit ago, who attended Langston University, was the first African-American female pilot. Famed Chickasaw aviator Pearl Carter Scott became the youngest pilot when she took her first solo flight at the age of 13, taught by none other than Mr. Wiley Post. Geraldine Cobb and our own Wally Funk, trained at Oklahoma State University, were the first part of the Mercury 13 group of astronauts selected to undergo astronaut screening tests and training. Shannon Lucid from Bethany was part of the first female group of astronauts and was the only mother of that group that went up for the first time. Women aviators and pioneers have shaped this great industry not just for our state, but for our country as well. It is that specific reason that we are here today to celebrate the accomplishments of women in aviation aerospace. It's so great to see all the amazing young people out there in the audience today. I'd heard from the creator of this event, Sandra Shelton, that we had about 150 young people here today. That is great, that is excellent. You are so vitally important to the success of this aviation aerospace industry in Oklahoma. You are the future workforce that our companies today are going to use. I always share this note when I'm around young people and I'm talking in classrooms. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you want to go get your PhD at a university. I don't care if you want to come straight out of high school and go into the workforce or anything in between. What I want you to do is come join the state's aviation aerospace industry. Whether you want to be a pilot, an engineer, a mechanic, a machinist, an administrator working in HR, project management, program management, accounting, marketing, an airport manager, air traffic controller, I think you get the point. You can do whatever your heart desires right here in aviation aerospace in this great state. So I leave you with this today, an ask, maybe two, because we need all of your help. We must spread the information that you're hearing today at this event, because workforce is our greatest challenge. We must get our young people and we must educate them on the career opportunities that are available in aviation aerospace. Equally as important is we must get to parents. We know how important parents are to our kids' futures, and we must educate everybody about what aviation aerospace can be, what this career field means, not just to the individual, but to the state as a whole and to our economy of the country. So if you go home today, talk to a neighbor, talk to a colleague, talk to an educator, have a conversation in the elevator, visit with your elected officials, anybody, and tell them about what you heard at the Oklahoma Women in Aviation Aerospace Day event and how impactful this industry can be and how impactful women can be on this industry. I would be remiss if I didn't take a few seconds before introducing our next speaker to make a special recognition. She's already been recognized. She's been the lifeblood of this event, the brainchild, the brain trust. We would not be here today as an agency, we would not be here physically today at this event, if not for OAC's own Sandra Shelton. So please stand up, give her a warm welcome and a round of applause for all the efforts that Sandra has done. I have the distinct honor and privilege of introducing our next speaker, who happens to be one of my bosses, so I promise not to screw this up. I've known Secretary Gatz for a while, and he comes from a non-aviation background, but I've never met a man who has been more 100%, 110% go cannonballing into the pool, not just dip your toe in the water, but cannonballing into the pool 110% all in on aviation aerospace. He's been extremely supportive of our agency, extremely supportive of this great industry. And yes, I know there's other cabinet members in the governor's cabinet, but I would say that you are probably the best cabinet person for aviation aerospace. Secretary Gatz, Secretary of Transportation for the state of Oklahoma, welcome to the stage.
Grayson, thank you so much for those kind words. And I couldn't be more excited to be here with you today. And how can you help but be excited? Look at this room, folks. This is reality in Oklahoma. Women in aviation and aerospace, this is what it's all about. So, Grayson, to you and your team, Sandra, for everything that you do for aviation, aerospace, and Oklahoma in general, thank you guys so much for making this event happen. It's great to be back with everybody in person. That's a big deal. So we're so happy about that. And to be here with Pro Tem Treat, Leader Eccles, the other legislators and representatives that are in the room. Guys, thank you so much for your support for transportation in Oklahoma. Folks, these people believe in good government. They're leading us in a great direction. And again, thank you for your leadership. Mayor Holt, we are so proud to be in your community, and we so deeply appreciate your tireless efforts to make our capital city the best capital city in this country. So thank you for everything that you're doing and your work to make that happen. As Grayson said, I'm a pretty quick study, and it doesn't take me long to recognize the contributions that aviation and aerospace make to our state, not just as our second economic motivator, as Director Kissling points out, and champions across this country, but as the jobs that it brings, as the people that come to our communities. We're so appreciative. I've had the honor to participate in activities and developments at our general aviation airports across the state, and it always amazes me the economic engine that aviation and aerospace is across this state. So again, great work, everybody. Couldn't be prouder and more honored today to be here. And I also have the honor and privilege of introducing our next speaker, somebody that's really special in the state of Oklahoma. But if you wouldn't mind, I see everybody is just about to finish eating. So I'm kind of on this fitness kick. I know I don't look like it. But if you would indulge me just for a minute, and everybody stand up and take your right arm and reach in the air. And then if we can get a little bit of side to side going. Touchdown, Cowboys, pistols firing, go Pokes. Wally, that was for you. Maybe a little bit for me. It was a beautiful thing. But Wally, thank you so much for everything that you've done for our country across your career. We are so deeply appreciative. And if you'll remain standing, it is my tremendous honor to introduce the Chief Executive Officer of the state of Oklahoma, the leader of the executive branch and our pilot in chief, Governor Kevin Stitt.
This is awesome. That's a childhood dream, walking up to Top Gun. Oh man, I know there's so many people here to say hi to, but I want to give it up to all my friends in the House and the Senate, Pro Tem, Leader. Can y'all stand up so we can give you a big round of applause? We have a fantastic legislature, and but it is an honor for me to be here with you today. And Tim Gatz, I didn't see exactly what he did. I was behind the room, but did he like get Bedlam going early? So Boomer, there we go. You know, I get to do so many cool things as governor. My wife and I, Sarah, we have 6 children, but one thing I didn't realize that was gonna be really cool about becoming governor, it was gonna make me a better parent. My son, 18-year-old son, just joined the Army and just got back from Fort Benning, Georgia. Boot camp and AIT training. And so Sarah and I went to his swearing in. And when you swear into the Army, you promise to obey the President of the United States, to defend the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And because my 18-year-old son was also joining the Oklahoma National Guard, with his hand in the air, he promises to obey the commands of the governor of the state of Oklahoma. So, of course, like any good father, I have been wearing him out, go polish my boots, soldier, go wash my truck, and he's been rolling his eyes at his dad. But I want to thank Director Grayson Ardes and his staff, the aerospace community, the partners present today, and the planning committee for putting this incredible event on. So thank you so much for all your hard work. Oklahoma certainly would not be a pioneer in aerospace without the contributions of women, like Betsy Coleman, who was the first African-American female pilot. It's unbelievable. Shannon Lucid, who was the only mother selected by NASA for the first class of female astronauts. Geraldine Cobb, a member of OSU's Mercury 13 study. Or Wally Funk. Did I see Wally in the house? All right, or Wally Funk, who fulfilled her lifelong dream this past summer when she flew to space with Jeff Bezos on the first crewed flight of Blue Origin. That's why in 2017, Senate Bill 230 was signed into law to make Oklahoma the first state ever to recognize the contributions of women in the state's aviation and aerospace industry. Each year, our state recognizes Oklahoma Women in Aviation and Aerospace Day on December 9th. It's the birthday of Pearl Carter Scott. Scott paved the way for women in aviation. When she was 13 years old, she learned to fly from Wiley Post, another great Oklahoman. Then her first solo flight in September 1929 made her the youngest pilot in the United States. That is truly incredible and so unique to the state of Oklahoma. As a pilot myself, it's been my hobby since I was 16. I soloed at 16 at Norman Westheimer Airport when I was in high school, and I have fallen in love with aviation ever since. Still a pilot today, love aviation. Aerospace today is Oklahoma's second largest and fastest growing sector. We've been trying to diversify our economy for decades. Aviation is exploding in Oklahoma. We have Tinker. We're so fortunate as Oklahomans to have Tinker Air Force Base. Did you know Tinker is the main maintenance depot for the Air Force? There's 2 others, but Tinker is definitely the hub of that, keeping all of our military airplanes flying around the world. American Airlines in Tulsa. Yeah, let's give it up. Tinker. It's a huge asset for our state. The largest commercial maintenance hub. It's located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Over 5,000 employees keeping American Airlines airplanes flying. Over 1,100 companies. We got some American Airlines people in the house. There we go. Over 1,100 companies support that sector. So we continue to expand and recruit new aerospace companies to Oklahoma. In the last 3 years alone, over 30 aerospace companies have either relocated or expanded their operations locally right here in Oklahoma. It's created 5,000 new aerospace jobs and invested over $100 million in new capital dollars to our great state. This expansion is just the beginning. ACES is a program that we set up in Commerce a few years back. It's the Aerospace Commerce Economic Services, and they specifically focus and target aerospace, that cluster, to attract those companies to Oklahoma. They have 30 projects in the pipeline right now with an estimated 6,000 new jobs that we're currently working, and over $600 million in new capital to be invested here. Our R&D companies are producing underlying technology that is necessary for the future of aerospace, aviation, and defense. None of this works, however, without a strong workforce. Oklahoma's universities are stepping up. They've offered numerous programs for young Oklahomans to succeed in aerospace. University of Oklahoma supports careers in aerospace through the Oklahoma Aerospace and Defense Innovation Institute. Oklahoma State University developed the Aerospace Institute for Research and Education, and the University of Tulsa created the Institute for Information Security. Those are just a few of the training programs that are helping to grow our aerospace workforce. We can't just have the programs, we need the students. So that's where all of you need to be ambassadors to push young people and talk to those high school kids about great jobs in aviation. I want to tell you a quick story. I was in Tulsa meeting with American Airlines executives and was in the room with all the C-level folks, and they said, "Governor, do you know what we pay a starting first-year A&P mechanic?" I said, "No." They said, $68,000 per year. I went home and told my kids, "You're going to become an A&P mechanic." The point is, and then I asked the people in that room, I said, "How many of you started on the shop floor?" And about 40% of the room raised their hands. So anything is possible. We need to build pathways and programs from high school and career techs and associate degrees to bachelor's degrees and master's degrees. And these programs, education needs to be a lifelong. We need to learn. We need to reinvent ourselves in the higher education to allow students to reach their full potential. That's why I love our individual career plan that we're talking to kids as freshmen and sophomore and pointing them in the right direction. God has a special plan and purpose for every single one of us, every single one of our kids. Whether it's a 4-year university or whether it's a career tech or an associate degree, we need as a state to make those pathways possible for all of our young people. America is the greatest country in the world. We're the wealthiest and the freest country that's ever existed. The freedoms that we enjoy in America, they're truly unique to us. We've got freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Our founders uniquely understood that religious liberties are the key to all other liberties. Not every country in the world has that. That is what makes America so special, is our freedoms. And to me, I love Ronald Reagan's definition. His favorite definition of freedom is the ability to say no. And today, it's more important than ever that we preserve those freedoms. If we do not protect every citizen's individual liberty above all else, the unique opportunity every citizen has to succeed here in America could be lost. And I want to be very clear, because during a time when some leaders think it's perfectly reasonable, maybe even admirable, to sacrifice our freedoms for something else, whether that's public safety, majority viewpoint, is it okay if the majority of the people think one way, that we can force everybody to think that way? I believe our Constitution protects the minority's viewpoint. Today, you might find yourself agreeing with, or maybe not even really caring about a few extra mandates. But tomorrow you may disagree. I love George Orwell. He was a famous author. He wrote, "If liberty means anything at all, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear." Oxford defines liberty as this. Liberty is something our founders talked a lot about. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. We've all heard that term. What is that? Liberty, defined by Oxford, is the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, or political views. And I want you to know, as your governor, I will never sacrifice your liberties for any cost. There's nothing more precious or more fragile than our freedoms. Thank you all so much for being here today. God bless you. We live in the greatest state in the country. If anybody's in here from Texas, I just want to remind you that Oklahoma is a step above Texas. All right. And up until about a week ago, I was able to say that we were the only state in the country with 2 top 10 football teams. And then my beloved Pokes came up an inch short on a first down, which was a bad spot, by the way. But it's going to be a great bedlam if we can go keep those teams undefeated. So thank you so much for being here. God bless you. And I'd like Wally Funk to come up. I've got a special proclamation I wanted to present to you.
I like a good hug.
Thank you. We are so proud of her. Thank you so much. We wanted to present this to you.
Oh, wow. A governor.
I'll read it.
Thank you, honey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, it's my turn now?
Wait, we're not done yet, Wally.
Oh.
First of all, we got more stuff for you, and then you deserve a proper introduction, I believe. But Wally, you are such an inspiration to so many, and we are so deeply honored to have you here in our great city today. And we want you to always be able to return, even if the gates are locked. So, got a key to the city for you, Wally Funk.
Oh.
In other words,
Oh, my word. Am I on? Woo!
in other words,
Wait a minute. On my camera? Wait, let's do that again.
Oh.
Okay. That's what you push. That's it.
Good enough, we're going to use her camera too. I love it. Here we go. Here we go.
Thank you, honey.
You're awesome. You're awesome.
Oh,
Such an
honey,
inspiration.
I'm just a kid next door. That is so wonderful. Wow. I'm going to come and open up the key to Oklahoma City and everywhere I went, especially when I went to Oklahoma State as a Flying Aggie. Oh, thank you very, very much.
I'd like, if you can stay up here for a little bit, because we're doing a presentation in just a minute, but I want to share with you some stories. When I was in the astronaut office, John Glenn came back to fly his second flight in space, and I had the privilege of sitting down and sitting down with somebody who was my hero growing up, okay? And I think there's a lot of young men and young women that look to you and say thank you for what you've done and all you've done throughout your career in aviation to inspire people and to get a chance to fly in space. Because it's a fabulous thing to fly in space, isn't it?
But it's so great.
It's wonderful. It's a great ride going uphill. It's a great ride coming down, too. But I want to thank Wally for being here, and she's going to do a presentation for us. but I want Wally to show you her socks, and I'm going to show you my socks. I know you have
How
shuttle.
did you know
I
that?
saw you have shuttle socks on, and I have astronaut socks. Here we go. There you go. Woo! There we go. The rockets and Shayla. There we go. Woo! So, yay! There we go. There you go. Yay!
How did you know that?
I saw right down there, but and it's a privilege for me to be here and to share the stage with you because being able to fly in space is a fabulous thing. When I was one of the first classes we had as astronauts, an astronaut named Steve Smith came in, and he wrote a real large number on the board. He said, in the history of the human race, we estimate 108 billion people have lived on the surface of the Earth. Then he wrote a much smaller number, and as of today, I think 585 people have had the privilege of flying in space. And we both have had that privilege, and it behooves us to share that experience with others. Because hopefully someday, and what you've done, and flying with Jeff Bezos and flying in commercial space, hopefully more folks will get the chance to do that in their future. In our lifetime, hope it becomes routine, like aviation is. But thank you for being here. I'm going to give you the stage is yours, and you can do a presentation and talk about your experience, and we love having you here. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
Too much stuff. Well, thank you, sir, very much. Thank all of you for having me come here today and be out here with you. This is the most fantastic thing that I've experienced since I've been back. And that was just 3 months ago, and oh, my brain is still up in this space. It was just great going up there. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more a little bit later about all that. For those of you that don't know, there's a magazine, no, there's a book out called Higher, Faster, Longer. It's my life. You might want to get it. I have nothing to do with it. And for the 99s, they put out a magazine. Woo! I was born in Taos, New Mexico. Has anybody been there? Oh, quite a few of you. Okay, at 7,000 feet, I was brought up with the Indians and the Spanish and my parents. My father had a store there, and mother was just the most beautiful, wonderful lady dressed to the hilt and ran the Sound of Taos. I was brought up in a very aristocratic way. One of the things I kept doing when I was about 3 or 4 years old, I'll get something in a minute. I put my Superman cape on, and I put some hay down there, and I jumped off the barn, and I landed. I didn't fly. So I put some more hay down there, and it came back around, got up. I tried it again. I didn't fly. What came into my mind? Because I'm going to tell you about the spirit of the Taos Mountain, told me in my heart, you need a propeller and an airplane. And that's how it all started. And now I'm going to show you in a few minutes. Go back one, please, sir. There. That is the spirit of the Taos Mountain. I look at that every day, and you don't pray to it. You let it talk to you in your heart. And today, when I did that, and the picture I keep with me, it said I was going to be with all of you. That's what it told me. But that day that I was jumping with my parachute, it told me, Wally, you need to be in an airplane. Okay, next slide. 2 years old, my parents took me out to an airport, and that spirit said, go check the nuts on that DC-3 wheel. And that's what I'm doing. I'm going to go up there and I'm going to check the nuts to see if they're tight. And they were And Mother said, what are you doing? I said, that airplane can fly. So I started my career very, very early in my life, but something that my grandfather always told me, he said, stress is when you lose faith and replace it with fear. How many of you all done that? Fear. Get rid of that fear. Negativity contaminates energy. You want to keep the energy going. That's what I've had all my life, is a lot of energy. I've never stopped at anything. I can run upstairs, I can jump, I can do anything. If you let those things happen, it's going to slow you down. I don't want any of you all to ever be slowed down. Don't sit on a pile of negative. Isn't that a true statement? Don't sit on a pile of negative. Now, one of the things I learned from my grandfather is if you want to become smart, you got to associate with smart people. And I've done that all my life. Thank you, Monica. I have had very forward-thinking parents, and I've never had a failure. In the news, they said I wasn't an astronaut because I couldn't get in with NASA. Because I was a girl. That was not true. Girls had gone up before me. It's because I didn't have an engineering degree. And I want to really tell you parents and you youngsters, get that engineering degree because you need it when you want to do something fantastic in this world today. I was giving a lecture somewhere in Kansas, and I went up to a college and I said, sir, I want to get my engineering degree. They said, you're a girl, go to home ec. I was always taught, don't ever let anybody touch you. He poked me on the shoulder when he told me that. And I turned around to him and I said, throw you a fish, and I walked off. Now, if you read about me, that is my phrase, throw it a fish. You all should adopt it. When something gets in your way or somebody, you don't cuss, you don't do it. I've never cussed, I've never drunk, I've never done anything. I've done everything like my mother told me to do. And she was absolutely wonderful to teach me how to be brought up. I was in shorts and a t-shirt most of my time until I went to Stevens College. Anybody know where that is? Columbia, Missouri. I was 14. I soloed at 14 when I went to Columbia. I came at 99, so early. It was fabulous. I have had a fabulous life at Stevens College. I was a flying Susie and doing all those wonderful air meets and winning. And then where did I end up going? Oklahoma State to be a flying Aggie. And I was just there a couple of weeks ago, and oh, they were so fabulous to me. And it just, they took me up there in the Pilates. Oh no, we're a little ahead of ourselves here. Hang on a minute. Just remember, don't go faster. That's what Mother would always say. Don't go faster than your angel can fly. Don't go faster than your angel can fly. Okay, we're ahead of ourselves on the slide there. I want you to know I was born with ability, always a great attitude, because that's what my parents wanted me to have, and forward thinking, always. Learn early. I'm impulsive, spontaneous, practical, and bold. In case you haven't figured that out, you know it now. I've never stopped learning. And you know, people want to call me Miss and all the names. I'm just the kid next door. I'm no different. I can still do everything. I'll probably go to 100 and something if God doesn't take me sooner. So, as a little girl, and as you can tell, I want to share with so much, any woman who does not thoroughly enjoy tampering across the continent or the country on a clear, frosty morning with a good horse, a good gun, and a pair of dogs does not know how to enjoy life. And I bet you all will agree with that. And I've had all of those. I had my BB gun when I was 12, and I was shooting. I was out working on cars, I hadn't gone out to the, well, I had to get out to the airport. I had been working with all kinds of machinery. I had the tools to do it. And it was just fantastic. I wasn't a girly girl. I didn't do it. And you know what's wrong today? Is that your kids all are on those things. That's why they're not out at the airport learning to fly, because they're on those, what do you call them? I never had one. I wouldn't know how to work one. All I have is a camera. But that does what I need. So, if you have a child that wants to go, fine. I started at 2. I started my lessons at Stevens College. I never graduated from high school. I read into Stevens. Well, let's see here. You know, I've said this once before. Don't go faster than your angel can fly. Okay, now you're going ahead of me on who's got the clicker. Okay. Go back one slide, please. Okay. Steve came and took me and my friend Mary, and I don't know where you're sitting, Mary. Can you put your hand up? Well, where are you? Oh, my friend Mary. She has been such a great inspiration and helped me for so many things. I invited her to go with me on, that's Jeff Bezos' plane. So, next slide. I said I wanted to fly. So they put me in the right seat. And I got to fly it all the way to West Texas. Now, do you know how big West Texas is? Jeff owns all of that property. It's this hundreds of acres. Next slide. Now, we landed where it says the 21 Van Horn. That's where we landed. Now, when you see the thing up there above the 70, that's where I really took off from. That's where the vehicle was. You won't see it for a while. Okay? They had the young man that I was with. He was 18, as you all know. But he and his father were from the Netherlands, and he didn't speak English quite as fluent as you and I might. So my trailer there, it was beautiful. And it has my name on it, and it's going to have a name on it forever. That's what they tell me. Right there. And inside, it was absolutely beautiful. Everything was just purely clean, and they kept bringing me all those things things. They even had my picture on the wall. That's when I was at Fort Sill flying T-33s. Next one. Now this young lady, can I have a guy? Can you come here? Put that away. Now Leslie would come and wake me up 2 or 3 mornings because I had to get up at 4:30 or 5. And then she would come in very quietly, no key, and I'm sleeping, so pretend that I'm sleeping. And she would come and do that to my leg twice and wake me up. Yeah, that feel good?
Wake up!
Yeah. Thank you, honey.
Do it again. Not kidding.
And that is how I was awakened every morning. And you know what? You guys go home and try it. It feels so good. And the way, not to be yelled at or your name called out, just that wonderful feeling. Go home tomorrow and have your wife or whomever try it, or try it on your wife. It was fabulous. So she took me around to about everywhere I needed to go. And then here I come and I meet Jeff and his brother, Mark, and they were fabulous. They were giving out watches. Okay, next one. We ate every day like that. A lot of the food and the people who were preparing it came from New York. Okay? Okay, now the feather, the Blue Origin feather. He has them all over his property. You see all that property to the mountains? He owns all of that. I couldn't believe it because when I was flying, and I got to fly, his girlfriend owns helicopter business. I got to fly her helicopter and go all around, and I couldn't believe the amount of territory that he owns. Okay? So then he takes me up on a flight. I think he was trying to see how well I could get up that mountain. Well, I've been up and down mountains all my life because I was a skier, I was a jumper, I've done everything there is to do. I never held anything back. I'm not a girly girl. I was a tomboy, and I did all the things with the guys. And I loved it. And here we are. We made it to the top of where he is. Now, some of my friends couldn't get in to see me go up. So they drove, and they were met by Hootie on the back there, and then walked over where they are and could see the whole operation. Going in, getting up, and then the aircraft going up. And now, look at all of that territory. That's his. Woo! There's different spots all over that area, and I can't point them out to you. Maybe that one over on the right is one, where the vehicle took off from, where another vehicle landed, where I landed, and they were all miles apart. I cannot tell you, folks, and you can't go there without permission. You cannot drive your car there because the cops will push you back. But it was a fabulous time to be there. Okay? Then, whew, ground school. How many people have been in ground school? Well, not even half of you. You had to sit there for days and read books and learn a lot, didn't you, you people? And people that want to become pilots now, I want to encourage you, get out to the airport, come over here, learn to fly. This is a ground school for his astronauts. It was very easy for me because what's my experience? In the 60s, I took all the astronaut tests up in Oklahoma, right here. And I beat the guys, and I was young, I was only 20. Then I decided I wanted to go overseas, and I told Father I wanted to get a Volkswagen and pick it up in Brussels and do all of Europe and the Mideast, so forth. And Mother said, how are you going to do that? I said, I'm going to do it. Mother sewed a $1,000 bill in my underwear in case I ever got to a place where I couldn't go. I didn't have enough money. Well, I had enough money to buy the car, so I did all of Europe, and then there was times I had to get the Volkswagen camper on the bus, or on, not a bus, on a boat. Do not change the subject yet. And I did all of Europe. 3.5 months, 45, 46 countries. Have any of you done that much? I could tell you I have a thing in home showing every country I was in. And then I came back, I had to sell the camper. Had a problem, so I sold it, went back to Brussels and bought another one, and then I brought that one back to America. Okay, so that was all in the 60s. I went to Russia twice, and I did all the Russian cosmonaut training. And the guys would say there, Wally, you did better than our guys. I said, well, okay, I'm a girl. What did you expect? Sure. So Yay! I have never let anything stop me. So, that's my instructor, and we had to get off the table after he was showing us what we had to do and get in and out of the capsule, and you had to sit down, put the belt around you this way, put the belt around you up here, here, and here. Well, okay, sound pretty easy, but it's hard to get in there. Now you're going a little fast for me. Okay, this is one of the tricks. We're going into the capsule, and I'm in seat number 3. Okay, next slide. Now, I think this is it. This is what we're going to take off. So, the capsule is locked from the inside. Here comes all the stuff. Oh, what happened to when I was going up the steps? Did they show that? Well, I made it fast up the steps. Oh, okay, he backed up. It was no big deal for me to get up those steps. So, we got up the steps. Okay, next one. And we get in it, get our seats. There I am. And you just keep that one a minute. It was like laying down on my bed. That was so comfortable. I could have just gone to sleep. And the straps, I kind of undone them a little bit so they weren't so tight. But I put my picture on the window because one of the astronauts had done that when they went up to ISS. And I wanted to do the same thing. Oh, I just had something hit me, though, when we went up into space. It was black. And I'll get to that in a minute. All I could see was a little bit of us. Okay, next one. So here we are, taking off. All the dust flying away. And that was so fantastic. To tell, I had a window that told me how fast we were going, how high we were going. Next one. And then there's our contrail. Oh boy, now I can get out of my seat. So, we're at 63 or 4 miles above Earth, and we can do anything we want. Now, I knew that the young man was in front of me, and I didn't want we were too close together. That capsule is kind of small for 4 people. The next flight, you folks, they're taking 6. So watch that on TV. How in the world they're ever going to get along, I don't know. So I was doing my turns. When I was in Russia, I had a big room to do all kinds of stuff in weightless. So this is the time I'm in weightless. Okay. But I did everything I could do. Then I sat down and buckled myself up and was ready to come down. Now, what I want you all to know.
I'm here for you. Okay.
When we took off, it was only a bump. Just like was in your car, only a bump. Now, when we got into space, there was no feeling at all. It was easy. Now, the parachutes have come on, haven't they? Bump,
Bump, bump,
bump,
bump,
bump. It was that hard, folks. It was so easy, it was just a bump. And I could not believe it that Jeff Bezos is so smart with all of his technology. Okay, thank you, sweetheart.
Oh, I'm okay. I'm done.
That I did not bump. That's all I felt were those 3 parachutes coming out. Holy cow. I've done a lot of jumping in my life, and it was never that easy. Okay, next one. Oh, this is one of my favorite ones. Can you see this? That is dust. He had 3 small jets underneath the vehicle before we ever landed, and that made the dust, and we landed at 1 mile an hour. Now, think about that a minute, folks. We hardly do anything at 1 mile an hour. It's like that. And I thought, oh my God. And then more and more dust, and then of course, we're down. Next one. And then all of you saw me coming out. I was so happy, but I didn't want it to end. It was so fantastic. So out I come, and I'm getting interviewed. And the next one. Well, I'm not finished yet.
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
We need you to.
Next one.
We'd like to do something. Go ahead. Tell us about this part of the experience here.
That's the champagne that Jeff wanted to put over on everybody. Next one. Next one. That's his girlfriend that owns the helicopter company. That's the one I got to ride, helicopter. Next one. And that's what I'm talking to the press. I was so happy, like I am now, with all of you. And I'm getting shocked.
We're going to build a rocket.
Okay. What we'd like to do is, when I was growing up, I used to shoot rockets, Estes rockets, just like this, from a field in Black Forest, Colorado, and I used to pick beetles up off the ground and stick them in the rocket.
Oh.
Hey!
You mean
I'm experimenting, right? Being a scientist. We're going to build some rockets. If everybody looks on their table, there's a bag with an orange paper in it, and there's a rocket inside. And we're going to have a rocket building competition. And since you got to ride a rocket recently, you're going to help me with this, okay? Because you are.
Didn't look
okay.
like that.
Well, here we go. Okay. So, yes, ma'am. You stand up, stretch. You stand up, stretch. What was that? What was this thing with boomer? Okay. Here you go. Please stand up. And if you take these things out, it says we're going to assemble these rockets, and it says fully assembled on here. So I'm going to. Could you hold this, please?
Absolutely.
There you go. Oh, gee whiz. Yeah, mine's not fully assembled. What we're going to do, I have Dawn and Teresa. Dawn is works for the Sooner Academy. If you could come up here and help as we go through this, so we get a chance to work this together. And can I get a rocket that's not torn apart? Okay. Yeah, this is what happens when an astronaut gets hold of a rocket. We have scientists out there? Okay.
We're going to send Teresa into the crowd. Oh, you are? Yeah. Miss Camp, I'm going to have you go out to the crowd.
Okay. He's got his MC?
Yeah, can I get that? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you got.
Okay, we're going to put this rocket together, and Dawn, you can go ahead and explain the process through this, and help Wally here.
All right, everyone's got a bag on their table, and inside is a rocket, and we're going to have a little competition to see which table can build theirs the fastest. It's very easy. There are instructions, but you don't really need them. You have a nose cone, and there's a shot cord. Oh, you've already got it built back here? Woohoo! You gotta have everybody's
We gotta
name
go check this out.
On the rocket when you're done.
All right, Northrop Grumman. Oh my goodness, look at this rocket, folks. Woo! Are you the
So you put the fins on. Good
Woo!
job.
We got a rocket Wally for you. You want to go up again?
Excellent. Can everybody write their name on the rocket from the table? As soon as you have yours built, everybody at the table raise your hands and wave at us, and we'll know you're done. You have to attach the parachute. How many of you have attached the parachute?
So what are you doing?
No, we'll have to launch it later.
Building this rocket and writing our names on it.
Okay, everybody
Awesome.
wave your parachute at me. This has to be attached to the nose cone or the shot cord for you to be done. Have you got your parachute attached, Tanya?
All right, Aces.
All right,
How you doing?
very
You guys
good.
doing okay?
Over
Yes.
here.
What do you think? You got it done?
Excellent, excellent.
The Aces team is getting close with their rocket.
Is
All right.
everybody's name on it? Get everybody's name written
All right,
on it.
let's hear it for Sundance. Are you
That's
the fearless
one of the
leader for
requirements.
Sundance?
Everybody's name needs to be on the rocket.
Good job.
You've got a Sharpie
All
in
right,
your bag.
what do we have over here? We got Kratos. And you've got the names on everyone's rocket?
Huh?
What do you think? Did it look easy?
Oh yeah, nothing.
And let everybody know this is being live streamed around the world right now. And as Sandra said, we have folks in Great Britain watch us. So folks across the pond, thank you so much for being involved in this and watching this and hearing Wally's talk.
How about Spirit Arrow? How are you guys doing? Woo!
Let's see here.
Everyone signed?
We're doing it now.
Awesome, good job. I think I'd fly in that one.
Put it in a twist.
Whoop. Where's my 99s, Oklahoma? You got your rocket together? What do you think?
I think it's really cool. Hey, I love the names on it. That's cool.
Awesome, you guys did a
Tanya,
great job decorating.
Are you the first? Figures.
Who else we got? Ada, did you finish your rocket? Are you hiding it? Oh. What's the hardest part?
Putting it in there.
Putting the parachute in, but you got your names on the rocket. Good job.
Hey, Wally, would you sign that for me?
Here we
Wally,
go, the ladies in the back of the room.
Would you sign that for me?
I think this is the youngest crew. What did you all do? How'd it go?
What?
How did it go?
Good.
What do you think? Was this fun?
Yeah, it was cool.
No, not today.
Sydney, awesome. Ada
wish we had
Public
the engine.
Schools, you guys did great. Thank you.
Well, I thought we were going to make these go
Okay.
off.
I want to, is everybody done with their rockets really quick? I'd like to share a story that Wally had talked about working with your hands. When I interviewed to be an astronaut, they ask you one question. They say, tell us everything you've done since you were in high school. And so I explained what I'd done since the time I didn't get dropped out of high school. I got kicked out of college, long story. But the very last thing at the end of the interview was, why should we hire you? How are you different than anybody else that's come into this office? And I said, well, I'm a test pilot. I'm an engineering, aerospace engineer. I did really well in my squadron, but I like to build stuff. I like to work with my hands.
Yes.
And the idea is that I said, I think the space station is the ultimate construction program. I want to turn a wrench in space. And I walked away thinking it was the worst answer I could have ever given. I was selected in April of 1996, and one of the very first folks that came and talked to our class asked us how many of us worked on our cars. And I raised my hand. He said, the space station is a construction program. I want people to know how to use tools. I don't want to teach you how to use tools. I want somebody that has common sense. You're here because you have an education, you're technical, but you're going to be building something. So I have videos of me turning a wrench in space that I said I would do in my interview. And Wally was very true. Get folks to work with their hands, build things. The idea is that take the practical to the theoretical, and you make a difference in people's lives. And I loved it when you said that. It was just fabulous, and I loved your presentation.
You have to learn how to make things and build things. You girls, you don't belong in the kitchen. I never cooked. I never went to the grocery store. That's just the way it was.
Ready? Yes. So Commander Harrington, we have with us today Teresa Camp, a very famous 99, a Boeing engineer. And she's going to be, yes, let's give her a round of applause. So, are you a doctor? I'm going to call you a doctor. Dr. Camp is going to be coming around. Let's look at AAR. Oh, okay. So, Ms. Camp, have you inspected this? Okay. I don't know if that's going to fly. That is.
Sure. The shock cord is showing here. I think, Wally, I wouldn't tell you to get in this one. I'm a little bit concerned. We might not deploy. But excellent work on the signatures.
Let's look at United Dynamics and see how they did. So, United Dynamics based in Shawnee in downtown Oklahoma City.
Beautifully put together.
Look, oh, look. I don't know about that handwriting. That looks like the general's handwriting. No?
Awesome's missing an engine.
Oh. Yeah.
I want that one.
All right, let's look over here. Let's look at Senator Pugh and Ready 3. Sorry, team.
You got it? Got it? Ready. Here's our vehicle. What do you think?
How do you think that looks, Teresa?
It looks a little bald. I don't see any writing on it. Do you have any pride? Where's your name? Put your name on it. This is quality.
That for me?
That is from our table. That was our table.
Well, you got a pen?
Go ahead and use this mic here.
Okay. Let's try the 99s. Oh, 5B Aviation from Duncan, Oklahoma.
They're working up to the last second, and there's a heart and a balloon. I can tell there's a lot of love on this one. Good job, ladies.
It's not working anymore. They shut that off.
Well, Commander
1, 2, 3.
We're going to throw this back to you, sir.
Okay. I have enjoyed very much being with you all. You are fabulous. You youngsters, go out and get a flight lesson, please, for me. It might change your whole life. I've never been in the kitchen. I've never been out there getting food. I was always outside doing things, and still am. So thank you all. I love you. This was a wonderful, wonderful experience to be here with all of you. And I wish I knew you all. I wish I had all your names. Lots of love. Thank you very much.
Good job.
Sooner Flight Academy would like to invite those of you that are keeping the rocket to come visit us at our location at Max Westheimer Airport in Norman on December 9th, the official Women in Aviation Day, and we will launch your rocket with you. And feel free to bring your children and learn about our program. Thank you very much.
Great. Don, thank you so much. Hey, folks, we have a panel coming up, and I appreciate it. I'd like to bring some folks to the stage here. We're going to have a discussion about women in aviation with some very, very talented professionals here. So I'd like to bring up a few folks. If you could please have your seats, take your seats again. If I could have Corby Bullock, president of the 99s International, come to the stage, please. Woohoo! I get to facilitate. Hi! 10,000 hours in an airplane. Awesome. Thank you very much. Go ahead. Have a seat. If I could have also Alexis Higgins from Tulsa International. Alexis? Hi, Alexis. Nice to see you again. Thanks. Let's see. Ashley, you come on up, please. Miss Oklahoma 2021 is soon to be Miss. Yeah. There we go. Who else we have? Michelle Coppage from the FAA. Michelle? Hey, there she are. Lieutenant Colonel Jennifer. Hey, Colonel, how are you doing? 964th Airborne Air Control Squadron. Awesome. Thanks for being here. Got Ashley. Shivanjali Sharma, the Deputy Lead for NASA Ames Research Center. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Come on. Hey. So come on. Go ahead and have a seat. We're going to have a fun discussion here. But what I'd like to do, just off the bat, rather than read your bios, I hate reading bios. I love what you guys have done. But if you could, each one of you just going to give me a real quick synopsis of what you do, where you work, and then we'll go from there. I got a list of questions, some math in public. We're going to have fun. Go ahead.
Hello. Hi, I'm Michelle Coppage. I'm the director of the FAA Mike Monroney Aeronautical Center, which is your neighbor to the west. Yes, I got some people there. And so it's an exciting place. Love aviation, and we couldn't do it without all the people and the support of the community and all the leaders here. So thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shivanjali Sharma. By trade, I'm an aerospace engineer. I'm currently serving as a deputy lead for the national campaign at NASA. I'm really excited to be here and looking forward to engaging with you all.
Good afternoon, Colonel Garrison. I'm the commander for the 964th Airborne Air Control Squadron at Tinker. We fly those lovely AWACS that you see us orbiting overhead. I have a squadron of just under 300 people, men and women from the United States and Canadian Air Forces, and we get them ready to mobilize worldwide.
I'm Ashley Robinson. I'm Miss Oklahoma 2021, crowned in June. We'll be competing for Miss America come this December, representing Oklahoma. I don't work in aviation, but I am a teacher. I'm a 7th grade ELA teacher in Oklahoma City Public Schools, and I'm an advocate for women and diversity everywhere.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alexis Higgins. I'm the CEO of Tulsa International Airport and Earl Jones Jr. Airport. I'm home to 13,000 employees at Tulsa International, including, as you've heard, American, Spirit, L3 Harris, and it's great to be here and talk about how we can get more women engaged in our industry.
Hi, I'm Corby Bullock. I am the international president of the 99s. We are the international organization. We have members all over the world, 6,400. We started in 1929 with Amelia Earhart and 98 other women pilots. At that time, there were only 117 licensed women pilots. And yes, we are student pilots, we are astronauts, we are commercial pilots, we fly for the fun of it. We do it all, and we love to claim Wally as one of ours.
Yay. You know, one of the things that I get asked a lot, who inspired you? Who in your life was the one that set you down the path that led to your career? So I'd like to toss that out, and to anybody to answer that. Who in your life, be it family, friends, what was the inspiration that took you down the path that you're in now?
So I'll start. My father he was an electrical engineer, and he was always taking me out tinkering on things. And so I went to school at OU, and I got a mechanical engineering degree, and then later a master's in industrial engineering, and I love engineering, and he was a great inspiration.
So I'll say my high school physics teacher. I was always a curious kid, and trying to understand how aircraft even flew and understanding Bernoulli's principle. As educators, I think there's such a large influence that you have in children's lives to inspire curiosity, engagement, and continued passion for science. And having that interaction with him really inspired me to continue my career as an aerospace engineer.
For me, it was my grandmother. She was in the Women's Air Corps when that was a thing. And she met my grandfather through the Air Force, ended up having to separate when she had children. And she inspired us, me and my sister both, that the Air Force and the military has changed quite a good bit, and women have a much larger role and are more capable in what they can do. And you have opportunities outside of having to separate once you have your children.
I'd say my mother's a huge inspiration to me. She is a trained engineer and told me from a young age that I could do anything I wanted to do and be anything I wanted to be, just like her. And while that looks very different for me than her, she definitely inspired me to make choices for myself and be who I wanted to be.
I would say there were probably two people, and they're both here today. Mary Smith Crofts hired me, gave me my first job at an airport 22 years ago. So I saw how she did it and thought, I want to do that too. And then Jeff Mulder, who's here, who's your new Oklahoma City airport manager. He's the first person who said, you're going to be a good airport manager one day, and encouraged me to get my AAE and learn more about the industry. And I think it's important that we recognize the men in our lives and work and who encourage us to do things. We can have a lot of men allies that support us, and would like to thank them both for the roles that they've had in my success.
I would say for me, my role models were the women that broke the molds, that did not follow the stereotypical duties and expectations. But I would also have to say my parents let me do what I wanted to do. They encouraged me to follow my goal, set a dream, and go for it. So both sets were my role models and the ones that helped me get where I am.
I was at an event at W. Al Gore on the East Coast, and it was a Martin Luther King celebration day, and one of the gentlemen said, what is the most difficult thing that you've had to deal with in your career? And I knew exactly how to answer that, and I'm going to pose a question to each of you. But what I told him was, when I was selected as an astronaut, one of my friends came up to me and said, well, I wish I was Indian. I said, excuse me? He said, I wish I was Indian, I could be an astronaut too. And I went, So everything else I've done in my career, as hard as I've worked, as well as I've done, my education and the challenges I've had, you think the reason I'm an astronaut is because I'm an Indian? Serious? You know, all things being equal, I felt that I had to work that much harder than anybody else in the office to prove that guy wrong, that was not why I was selected. I had the intelligence and the capability to do that job. And another guy came up to me, and one of the ladies in my class, he said, well, the only reason she's an astronaut, she's a woman. We had a nice discussion about that. What in your life have you had to deal with in terms of a hurdle in your career that you had to say, okay, here's what we're going to do now? And boy, have fun with that one, because it's a tough question.
So mine's a little different. I worked for AT&T and Lucent Technologies.
They had a big facility in Oklahoma City. Many of you from here know that. And they decided to shut that down. And so I was engineering director of that facility. And so for a lot of people, that was pretty traumatic. And a lot of great people were losing their jobs. But one of the things that happened out of that, it was a great opportunity for me to jump over to the FAA. And that's actually how I ended up at the FAA. And so my message is sometimes your career will not take the paths that you think. And so don't be scared of new opportunities, because it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I absolutely love the mission. FAA and aviation is more exciting than telecom, to be honest with you. and it was just fun. It was exciting. It was changing every day. And so that was one of my biggest hurdles. So thank you.
Anybody else?
So as you can imagine, working at NASA, I get to engage with a number of engineers and scientists, physicists, astrophysicists, and so there's a lot of smart people, right? One of the things that I've noticed as a female engineer is that we don't necessarily have the privilege of mediocrity. And I think that's okay. I think it challenges us to be the best that we can be, and I think it's important to embrace that challenge and appreciate it and appreciate the knowledge that you can gain by always pushing yourself.
Okay, so I know everyone can imagine the military, right, what we automatically think of, but there are a lot of females in the military. So the good thing is as a military, as an Air Force, DoD-wide, we're coming a lot better from where we were. So 2 stories. When I was younger, after I had my first child, I was requalling on the jet, and I wanted to volunteer for an event that the wing was hosting. I was told by one of the leadership at the wing that I couldn't do that because they thought that I needed to focus on my requals. I convinced the protocol lead at the time to let me stay onto the project, but maybe not lead it, but let me do the project. I knew I could do it, and I was confident in myself. So I did the project, I requalled on the jet, and I actually got the highest qualification that you could get when I actually did finish my requal. So that's that. You have to have that self-confidence. If you're going to go for something, you have to know yourself. The second time was a time when I questioned myself. When I was offered command for the 964th, my husband had just been offered a 365-day command downrange, which meant my first year of command was going to be, and it did actually end up being, with just me and my 2 younger girls, a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old. And my first thought was, I can't do this. I need his help. I have a squadron of 300 people that need my time, and they deserve my honest, my focus on what's happening with the squadron. It turns out we did make it, and we did just fine. I still look back on those 380 days, and I'm still not sure on some of those periods how we made it through, but we did. And so you can't doubt yourself. You have to have that confidence that you can do it, and then surround yourself with people that believe you can. In that period, it wasn't my wing leadership that doubted me. It was actually a little bit of self-doubt, and so we have to work through those periods as well.
I'd say one of the biggest hurdles that I've had to overcome in becoming who I am today is probably the lack of representation in the spaces that I'd like to be of people that looked like me. Whether it be in education, I know as I was growing up, I can count the amount of black educators that I had on my left hand. And so becoming a black educator didn't seem like something that was possible in every way, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I am an educator. And becoming Miss Oklahoma and hopefully Miss America, I'm only the 4th black woman to be Miss Oklahoma in the 100 years of the organization. So definitely not seeing yourself in the places you want to be, but overcoming and creating space for yourself.
Well, if I'm being honest, being up here in front of all of you is a little intimidating and challenging. But I've overcome that, I feel, in general. But I would say another thing is just claiming your seat at the table. And I've gone for different jobs over my career, and I didn't always get them. But you just keep going for it. You don't give up because you don't get it the first time or the second time. You have to be persistent. And so I think that's served me well.
And I have to say pretty much ditto to what's been said. It was developing the self-confidence and trusting myself that I could do it, not doubting that I would never accomplish my dreams, and just pushing forward and recognizing I could do it and nothing was going to stop me. That was the hurdle.
This is fabulous. If you could talk to your 8-year-old self, what would you tell him about what you've done and what, at that point in time in your life to where you are now, what kind of advice would you give them? And this is for all of us. For all the kids that look up to us, what are you going to tell them now? And what would you guys recommend?
First, I would say go for it. Don't ever give up. Don't let no be the final answer. If you can dream it, you can do it. A lot of what Wally said, go for it.
Yay.
I would say you have to do what you love. You have to get joy out of what you do every single day. So think about how you want to spend your life and what you like doing, and you'll never work a day in your life.
I often just say make the choice to say yes, and give yourself the opportunity to be the one that chooses to make a difference and be the one that chooses to show up.
So we all know our 8-year-old self had different job dreams, right? I was supposed to be a doctor. Medical school, all of that. The Air Force decided, no, you're going to commission and we're going to have you fly an aircraft you've never heard of. So here we are. I will never get to go to medical school, and that's okay. I would say for your 8-year-old self, just like she said earlier, there's going to be different doors and different pathways, and you have to embrace that and just kind of go with the challenge and each time that it presents itself.
So I think I'd tell my 8-year-old self that just because the way the world is the way it is today or back then doesn't have to be the way the world is in the future. We have the power and the ability to change things. And I think knowing that we as individuals have that capability, I think is important. And sometimes I don't think we feel that we have that agency, especially at a young age. But I feel like our generation and the generations that's going to come after us should know that they have that ability. They have the power to change the world if they are willing to accept that challenge.
So to all the kids out there, I would tell myself at 8 that you can be a leader even at 8. That you do not have to wait until you're older. It's not about what's going to happen later in life. That you are setting an example for other people, and just make sure you try to build other people up, because we're all in our spots because of the wings that we were able to stand on from other people. And so be an influence on others and set your goals high.
These are fabulous answers. I was standing on the launch pad once at pad 39A at the Kennedy Space Center, and I was with a guy named Jerry Ross, and Colonel Jerry Ross flown the shuttle 7 times. He has almost an hour in powered flight on the space shuttle. And he said, John, you're standing, it's 195 feet up to where the orbiter access arm. He said, John, the only reason you're up here is you're standing on the shoulders of all the people that made it possible. And be thankful for all those folks in your life that came along and encouraged you to do something you didn't necessarily think you could do. And that certainly happened for me in my life. As Oklahomans, what can we do to make a difference in the lives of young women right now, to encourage them to pursue careers in aviation, aerospace, be it as a pilot, or be it as an engineer or scientist, as an A&P? I mean, this idea of going to college, we've always talked about, you got to go to college, you got to go to college, you got to go to college. Some of the kids coming out of career tech in the state of Oklahoma walk over to Tinker and making $70,000, $80,000 a year their first year with 0 college debt. And that's fabulous. Find something you love to do, find somebody doing that, and talk to them. So what can we do as Oklahomans to encourage young ladies to pursue that path? And you just toss them out. What? I heard something out there.
Yeah, well, this is a great start. So be an ambassador. I think that's the biggest thing. Talk to your neighbors and your family, your friends, people at church, and just tell them how much you love your job and what you're doing. And that enthusiasm is just going to grow, and they're going to get excited and interested. And the more you can get them around something hands-on or around a plane or something. My daughter's 11, and I was telling somebody at dinner last night that a pilot named Britton Lee, she used to take my daughter at 9 years old and like, hey, what do you want to be? And she would get her in the pilot seat and everything. And then my daughter woke up one morning, she's like, Mama, I want to fly. And so, yeah, so that's what you have to do, just expose them, because they may not have confidence at the beginning, but your confidence will rub off on them.
Yeah, I have to say outreach and advocacy. I think that's part of our jobs. I see that as part of one of my jobs, is making sure we go out there and advocate for others who may or may not look like us, but who can know that this could be a potential. Sometimes I feel like young women don't even know that they could have this opportunity. They're just not exposed. So I see it's actually imperative for us, all of us here on stage and many of you out there in the audience, to be advocates so that we can encourage many more young women to become aviators or engineers or participate in the sciences.
And so along those same lines, aside from just advocating it, is looking for those opportunities, right? Going to the local schools and just asking, can I talk to the younger classes? When I pick my girls up from dance, if I get the opportunity to do that, and I'm still in my flight suit, you'll hear other little girls ask, hey, mommy, what does she do? And I don't ever walk past that question. I stop and I turn around and we talk about it, because a lot of young kids don't know, and they don't know what you do, and they don't know there's other opportunities besides being a pilot, running a radar system, working for the FAA or NASA or those kind of things. Sometimes you have to be a little bit aggressive and force those opportunities and push the door down that way.
I love hearing that. I think one really important thing is transparency and about your own experiences and making sure that people know how you got to where you are. Outside of that, with my own students, I talk to them about just asking them what their dreams are, because so many times they aren't asked, what do you want to do and what are your dreams? And they'll say, oh, well, I've thought about this, and you have to tell them, then there's no reason you can't do that. You've got to go for it.
Invite kids to your business. Let them tour your facility. Show them what you're all about. At the airport, we started an aviation career exploration camp with young women and take them around, and they see a pilot, but they see an engineer. They talk to a mechanic. They talk to air traffic control. So we as businesses can invite young people out and let them see it and experience it firsthand. And then if you guys were at the original Women in Aviation Day event, Erin Chappell was our keynote speaker, and she said, be the one to someone. All you have to do is influence one person. And so what are you doing, the 600 people here in this room today, to be the one to someone to lead them to a career in our industry?
I think most of us are here because we love aviation, we love aerospace, and we need to share that with the young people, the girls in particular, expose them to it, all aspects of aviation, whether it's flying an airplane or running an airport, doing air traffic control. Make it fun, let them see the joy in it, share it, and let them know they can do it too.
Very good.
My youngest student was 8 years old.
Wally's youngest student was 8 years old. You taught her about flying? Wow. My dad was a pilot, and I think when I was about 10 years old, I'd be flying. We had a little Aeronica Champ. We had a little Cessna. And we'd be flying along. My dad'd say, here, fly the airplane. Okay. So I'd fly the airplane. My dad would lean over, open the window, and take pictures like Lake Texoma. I'm flying a plane. I did not get my pilot's license until I was in the military. My dad was a pilot. We had an airplane, but I took for granted the fact I got to fly airplanes. I thought everybody got to fly airplanes. Because that's part of it. When it's right here, you don't realize how fortunate you really are until you step back from that and see what the possibilities are. And that's one of the things that I think I did not do growing up, is I did not sit down and talk to somebody about what I could do. They said, what do you want to be? Well, I'm not sure. I like to work outside. I wanted to be outside. I went to the college with the idea of being a forest ranger, and I learned how to rock climb the same year. I spent all my time rock climbing. I didn't spend my time studying. I got kicked out of college with a 1.72 grade point. So how did I become an astronaut? Well, it's the people in my life that came along and made a difference. I took a job as a rock climber in the mountains, and the guy I worked for encouraged me to go back to school. Become the engineer. Don't be the person on the lowest rung of the ladder. Don't accept making $4 an hour. Don't accept flipping burgers. Go out and find somebody doing that. So each of you, represents, really where you are in your career, and kids look up to you. And they're going to come to you and ask all of us, they're going to come to us and ask us a question. Why do you like doing what you do? They'll also ask you how much you make. I get asked that all the time. How much does an astronaut make? I get paid to do something I love to do. If you get paid to do something you love to do, you're doing the right thing. If you're getting paid a lot of money to do something you hate, my question is, why are you doing it? And one of the things about the military for me was it was the most colorblind, gender-blind society that I've ever worked for. That people, if you were capable, you did your job well, you would get recognized for that. And so I'm very fortunate, 22 years in the military, and I'm very thankful that I had that opportunity and people encouraged me. I'm thankful a guy encouraged me to go back to school. and it made a difference in my life. And I think we all have that opportunity. How are we doing time-wise? We doing good? Got a little bit. I'm going to ask a couple questions just individually because I'm kind of curious about some of your careers. Shivanjali, you work at NASA Ames, and you work on automated flight control, essentially, for aerospace, for UAVs. Are you the person that's automating the stuff that's going to bring Amazon and drop our box at our front door?
I get to work with a very talented group of engineers that are working on automation for small UAVs, small UAS, so drones. Hopefully soon we can all get our Amazon Prime deliveries via drone one day. But we're also working on larger vehicles, so a new burgeoning industry which I think would be of interest to the aviation enthusiasts here is urban air mobility. So not just getting package delivery, but what about larger cargo? What about transport of individuals? Us. So if we can think about the cartoon, the Jetsons that we used to watch, and we could imagine, yeah, those vehicles that used to fly. Those vehicles are now becoming a reality. In the US, there are a number of startup companies that are developing new vehicle configurations that allow vehicles to actually take off vertically, hover, and then transition into forward flight on the wing. And these vehicles are going through flight testing and working the certification paths. And I think that's a really interesting new entrant. And as aviators, I think we can all actually be pretty excited for a future, I would say in the next 10 to 20 years, where we would have the ability to get into an air taxi. And so we're working on a project called the National Campaign, where we're actually doing flight testing. We're working closely with the FAA, folks like Michelle, and having the opportunity to interact and really engage with the FAA to make this a reality. So that's part of what I'm working on.
Oh, awesome, cool. Corby, I got to ask you this question. I went to flight safety, got type rated in a Learjet, did a King Air. One of my co-pilots was a South African fighter pilot that flew against the Cubans in Angola. And he asked me if I wanted to fly a Cessna Caravan to Australia. Okay? Why? A single-engine Cessna Caravan to Australia. So my question for you is, what's the most interesting person you've trained in flight safety as a flight instructor?
I had several foreign students that it was quite an effort for them to come to the United States to learn to fly. Much harder for them to get here, and they were learning in a different language. English was not their native language, and the work that they did, the ones particularly from Korea, South Korea, they worked hard. They did not understand English. They were taking English classes as well as aerodynamics classes. Imagine how hard it is to learn in your own language, and here they were learning in English, and they were having to stand up in class so that they wouldn't fall asleep. They couldn't even bounce a tennis ball, and so they were having to learn the hand-eye coordination, and they persevered. They didn't give up. They worked nonstop, and I was so proud of them. They were great.
Oh, excellent. Ashley, as a teacher, 7th grade, right? Okay. My sister was a 7th grade teacher, and also she's a 5th grade teacher now. What's the one thing you try and do for your students to encourage them, male or female, to that next challenge? Is that something, I mean, what in the classroom, do you work as a group? Do you work, kids collaborate together? What's your method in the classroom?
In the ELA, one of my biggest goals is to just make sure that the kids are good communicators, written and, speaking, because communication is a huge part of what makes every single one of us a good person. The ability to communicate our needs and our goals. And so, yeah, we do a lot of collaborative work in the classroom, making sure that they can communicate with each other, but also they write, and I get to read about their lives, and they share vulnerable things about their experiences, and I get to support them through all of that.
Cool, very nice. Well, last one, let's see, Michelle. Working at the FAA, we talked about how many pilots out there? Okay, who's been ramped before? You know what ramping is? Ramping is when the FAA pulls up to your airplane and says, I want to see your certificate, your medical, and everything. And it happened to me out at Sundance. So, my question is, how many female inspectors we have at FAA in that role? Do you have any idea how many folks? If I pull up at Sundance Airport and there's a government van sitting at the hold short, following me to my airplane, I got to know how many are female? What's the really percentage of the folks in your business that are female?
You know, I don't know how many are ran, but I can tell you there's a whole room full of people here in the back that's a good career for you to think about. But I know at the Aeronautical Center, we have 6,300 people, and about 52% of them are female. And so there are a lot of females that are contributing to aviation, and we are on our 75th year. This is our 75th anniversary this year. And so we started even before the FAA was founded. And so females have had a powerful impact in aviation for a long time.
Awesome. This has been fabulous, and I really appreciate you guys sharing your expertise and sharing the roles you have. And understand, when you got promoted, you and your husband were pinned by your kids, right? Is that correct? I read that. That was really cool. So, now thank you guys very much for being here. I appreciate it. Good bit of round of applause for our panelists. Whoa, stand by.
There's 30 girls in America, and I was the very first FAA and NTSB investigator.
Oh, would you ramp me? Would you ramp me if I pulled? Okay. Okay. Ladies, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. And Grayson, you come back up to the stage. I'd appreciate it. Ladies? Yes, ma'am.
Hate to wake you up to say goodbye, but the dawn is breaking. It's early morning. The taxi's waiting. He's blowing his horn already. I'm so lonesome. I could die. So
Let's welcome to the stage Grayson Arties. Hey, Grayson, thank you so much. There you go.
Wow, just wow. Lost for words on what we just hour and a half. That was really a truly amazing event. Close it out today with a few thank yous. First off, the committee that put all this on volunteered their time. Let's give them a round of applause. This event gets put on because of volunteers from OAOA, our agency staff, ODOT, Turnpike Authority, Women in Aviation, the 99s. Everybody has a role and has a part, and you see all these folks wandering around the room doing jobs. After we adjourn today, if you could spend just a quick minute saying thank you to the efforts and the capabilities of these volunteers, because as you saw today, wonderful first-class event. And if there's one thing that you take home, is what I mentioned earlier. Take home that willingness to go out and share the story, share the message that you heard from Wally, that you heard from these great panelists today, that we need to get involved with women in aviation. We need to get involved with our young people to tell them about this career field. And
You made me think of something.
uh-oh, all right, Commander Harrington.
Take something else home. If you notice on your table, there's small coins. Take those and give them to a young person out there and tell them what you do and encourage them to pursue a career in aviation. Make Oklahoma the #1 state, the #1 thing in Oklahoma, aviation aerospace. So that's one thing. And then Wally has agreed to sign autographs here afterwards. She'll be here afterwards, but take that home too. There we go. Okay.
All right, and the last thank you I have is to our wonderful MC, Commander John Harrington. Thank you for emceeing this event. I really do appreciate it. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned. Thank you, guys.